The mission of Heritage Christian University is simple. They aim to advance the churches of Christ by equipping servants through undergraduate and graduate programs. Heritage Christian University produces effective communicators of the gospel, focusing on evangelism and a commitment to Scripture. Heritage Christian University is accredited by the Association for Biblical Higher Education and offers the following degrees: Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, Master of Arts, Master of Ministry, and Master of Divinity. Since 1968, Heritage Christian University, formerly International Bible College, has offered affordable degrees in biblical studies, allowing graduates to thrive in their ministries without the burden of loan debt after graduation. For more information about Heritage Christian University, visit www.hcu.edu. That's 3 W's and a dot. hcu.edu. Heritage Christian University is a sponsor of Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. TKM Incorporated in Moss, Tennessee is a construction company that specializes in erosion control, seeding, and soil, hydroseeding, hydromulch, minor excavation, and silt fence. They also provide traffic control and construction signs. Their business is keeping people safe, but their passion, their mission, is they wish that all men could be saved. TKM has adopted the nickname the King's Men because as they serve you, they also serve the King. If they could provide any of their services for you, please contact them at 931-243-3958. That is 931-243-3958. Or you can contact them on the net at tkminc2001 at twlakes.net. That is tkminc2001 at twlakes.net. TKM Incorporated is a sponsor of Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. SJ&L General Contractor specializes in asphalt, demolition, concrete finishing, and heavy hauling. This family-owned business is licensed in Alabama and Tennessee. You can contact them for any of your construction needs. 931-433-4660. That is 931-433-4660 or 3 W's and a dot sjnl.com. www.sjnl.com. SJ&L General Contractor is a sponsor of Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. I don't know if I was being exhorted or interrogated, but she started out, and she was careful, but she started out with, "Dad, you know I trust you, but with your track record." I was incredulous. My track record? My track record? Now, this is what I thought, but I didn't respond to her. But my track record pretty well speaks for itself. I've been involved in some stuff and some things too. Now, for the record about my record, I've never been in combat. I've never seen combat. I've never been in the military, and I'm not a sworn police officer, but I've been there when the gunfire was exchanged. I've been there in the aftermath of the gunfire being exchanged. I've been there in the aftermath of tragedy. I've looked for the missing and the wounded after the tornadoes. After the school bus wreck, I've moved the bodies, and in one instance, I moved just body parts. I believe I've handled myself with a modicum of self-control and level-headedness in what could be some mildly distressing circumstances. I've rescued people who were choking. I went out in the surf to get those 2 boys caught in the rip current under the pier. I've been able to rescue 2 individuals who had their clothing tangled and caught in rappelling gear, and I rescued that one girl who got her hair caught. I saved the guy at Ryan's when he had an epileptic seizure. I've done technical rescue on ropes courses in both practice and teaching, and then I've actually gone out on the steel cables and rescued people in the real deal. I did an entire episode about the boat wrecks I survived and the climber who inverted and was losing his clothing and his harness. I was there when, when the deputy shot himself in the leg, and Bob Danoon and I handled the situation. I still don't have my life-saving medal for that, by the way. And I was absolutely alone when my intestines ruptured for the first time, and got myself out of the situation. I took myself to the hospital. I was with friends the second time I had a medical emergency, and although Pickle took me to the hospital, I initially left the woods on my own power. I was jogging one time, and when I run, I chew gum. And I had this random thought as to whether or not I could give myself the Heimlich maneuver if suddenly I swallowed my gum or swallowed a bug and got choked. So I stopped running and got onto the baseball field that is at the corner of Ryland Pike and Dug Hill Road to practice. All you really have to do is get on your knees and double stack your fist right at your solar plexus and just simply let your body go limp and fall forward. I guarantee you, you will spit out your gum. For years, I led trips. I did some guided climbing and rappelling. I've taken people to climbing sites and rappelling sites. I don't know how many youth groups I've taken out of town to camps and retreats and hiking and on excursions. And in all those cases, when and if there had been emergencies, and in the few emergencies that I've been personally involved in, I, I think I've handled myself with a certain degree of level-headedness. But now it's time to take my grandson Gunner hunting. And so my daughter says, "Hey, have you gone over with Gunner about what to do in case of an emergency?" Now, she doesn't remember the plan we had when I fished with her and waded with her on my shoulders in the swamp just below the Meridianville ball field. She would sit on my shoulders wearing that Snoopy life jacket, and she had a little flashlight. And I said, "Now, if something bad happens to Dad or something happens that I can't get out, you paddle over to this boat and you sit on top of the turned over boat and you shine your light in the air and you wave it around like a searchlight." And I don't remember how old she was, but she wasn't very old. She could walk and she could talk and she could swim in a life vest, but we had a plan. And so as we start talking about Gunner going into the woods with me, I get this, "Dad, I trust you, but with your track record." So to reassure her and to make sure that she feels okay with Gunner getting to be in the woods with me, Gunner has a plan. Now Gunner's plan is written. Now Gunner and I have talked about it. And we've said, if something happens to me and I get hurt, you don't leave me, you stay with me. And then when the people come to find me, they'll by default end up finding you. If we're not home at a certain time, Grammy Jacks will send somebody after us. But now we've got a formal plan. Gunner has this plan. It's written on a card and it's sealed in plastic. He has a copy in his coat, and I have one in my overalls next to my phone. And his little plan, basically, I made sure he could read, and he does read at a first grade level. And I said, I want you to read this. And he read it out loud to me, and we, formed the words. And so the instructions are read this, do what it says, and stay with me. And his little card basically says, find my phone and use the passcode. And then the digits are spelled out, the 4 digits for my passcode. And then when the phone wakes up, you touch the icon, you touch the phone picture. And then when the phone picture turns the screen, then you touch the star. And the star is my favorites list. And anybody on that list, you touch. Now, for this particular exercise, I've got that list arranged by proximity. So it's Troy, and it's Derek, and it's Dave Baggett, and it's Barry Handback, and then it's dispatch. And then at dispatch, you say, "I need you to send the SWAT guys," or one of the SWAT guys. And this is what you say. And you read it. It's written out on his little card. "My grandfather is hurt and needs help. We are on Kill Mountain at the end of Myers Road." Now, we had to have some practice in saying Myers. And we talked about Oscar Mayer hot dogs, and we talked about the word "my," and you put the ERS on the end, Myers. "My grandfather is hurt and needs help. We are on Kill Mountain at the end of Myers Road. Park at the gate and walk down the road. Look for the orange vest." And he's supposed to read that very slowly to the people on the phone. And then it says, "Put your vest on a stick and wave it like a flag." He's not supposed to leave me. He's supposed to sit right there beside me, and he knows not to wander off and try to find help on his own. If he'll read what is written and do what it says, he will be found. And we've talked about it. And we've talked about that it's not a good idea for him to try to find his way out by himself or look for help on his own. He stays with me, and he makes that phone call, and he says those words, and he does those things. Now, as I thought about this after he went home from our hunting adventure, the more I thought about this, I realized that all the rules for healthy living, all the rules for good interaction with other people, and all the responses we have to crisis are preloaded. They're pre-scripted. We've got a rescue card that has been provided to us, and it's basically read this, do what it says, stick with me, and don't wander off on your own. That's been provided to us by God. Read this, do what it says, stick with me, don't wander off on your own. By the time we do this, by the time we read it and do what it says and stick with the plan, by the time we do this, we end up not just saving our marriages, not just saving our friendships, not just saving our career interactions. We end up having optimal responses to trials and trauma and tragedy. But as we respond to those situations, we actually end up saving ourselves. We save ourselves trouble. We save ourselves sorrow. We save ourselves regret. We save ourselves guilt. We save ourselves by not wandering off on our own for help and then needing help ourselves. Instead of the situation that we were trying to save, we're the ones who end up needing to be saved. All these instructions look like they're designed for other people. Turn the other cheek, go the second mile, bear with one another, be a person of endurance, be willing to forgive, initiate good. All those things look like they're designed for others, but in reality, they end up serving us as well as saving us. And those responses to those difficult situations are pre-scripted and prescribed and preloaded. You see, in the end, those instructions are really not about saving you. They really end up being about me. Now, I'm not talking about this being some kind of self-serving thing, but in reality, when we end up serving others, reacting to others, and treating these challenges the way that the note tells us to, the way the instructions tell us to, when we end up doing it that way, it actually benefits me and saves me. It saves me difficulties. It saves me heartache. It saves me regret. Now, when I'm treating other people this way, it's not preloaded to be manipulation or coercion or even a quid pro quo. It's not about making you feel. It's not about making you do, but it's simply making it about you. And when I make the rescue about you, when I end up being selfless, it actually ends up saving me those troubles. It ends up saving me those times. It ends up saving me all the difficulties I would have faced if I'd tried to do it a different way or tried to do it on my own. The instructions that have been given to us are actually, those instructions are from God. And those instructions on how to relate, how to interact with, and how to serve God aren't about saving God. The things that involve the Christian ethic and the moral code and the way we interact with others, they don't do anything to make God better. They don't do anything to benefit God. But all those things that he's provided for us, they actually end up saving us. And let's just be honest. Let's face it. By the time Gunner is using his rescue card, by the time Gunner's making a phone call on my phone, my situation's pretty dire. If I can't make that phone call and I can't have that discussion with whoever picks up the phone, whether it's 911 dispatch, Jim, Dave, Barry, or Troy, or Derek, if I can't use my own phone and I can't get him back to the truck, then I'm unconscious and I'm incapacitated. The reality would probably be that I'm probably just dead. And so in that situation, when that little boy is reading that card, if it ever comes to that, then it's not about saving me. The point of the whole thing is about saving Gunner. So if they find us, if we have to use the rescue card, if we have to use the plan, what they'll find is a scared little boy waving an orange vest like a flag, acting very brave, guarding his grandfather, holding the short stock AR that he has. Well, if you find him, you take that note out of his little hand, and you take that note out of the plastic, and you look at that folded piece of paper, but you turn it to the back because, see, there's a piece that's folded, and you read it to him. And this is what it says on Gunner's rescue card. What you did was not supposed to save me. We learned this plan to save you. You did a good job. I'm proud of you. I love you. Our plan worked. Using the tool of shortwave radio, World Christian Broadcasting literally covers the world every day with the gospel. They use 2 large curtain antennas. One is located in Anchor Point, Alaska, and the other in Madagascar. They send out messages that are recorded at their international home in Franklin, Tennessee. They make available 40 hours of broadcast every day. The broadcasts are made in English, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, English for Africa, and Arabic. They would love for your group to visit them. You can bring your ladies group, your youth group, or your men's group. Just give them a call at 615-371-8707, 615-371-8707, or you can go to worldchristian.org, find the Donate Here button, and make a financial contribution to support this work that literally covers the world every day with the gospel. World Christian Broadcasting, in cooperation with Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure, is sponsored by us. What? We sponsor ourselves? Is that even legal? Check us out on Amazon. You can have access to the titles of Pedagogue, the youth ministry book by Lonnie Jones; Cognitive Spiritual Development, a Christ-centered approach to spiritual self-esteem; Grappling with Life, Controlling Your Inside Space, a small essay using the principles of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to talk about psychological and emotional self-defense; If I Were a Mouse, a children's book written and illustrated by Lonnie Jones; and then The Selfish Reel, a very short story about a decision. Also, you can check out our YouTube channel to see archived lessons and presentations from across the country, some videos with rope tricks and knots. Don't forget to visit the Facebook page 550 Guys to learn about the little rope men that we make and that we invented and that we make. And then be sure to click like, subscribe, and share. This is Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure.